Hey Axis and Allies players, the good captain here. Welcome to round 6 in this game of Axis and Allies D-Day, played against a human opponent. We will start with the combat move for the Allies. They of course reinforce the zone in which there's fighting east of St. Lo. Okay. They move their units adjacent to Cherbourg up here and just kind of push towards that objective. Bring on fresh pieces from the reinforcement zones, and the British kind of hang west here. Bring on their reinforcements. That's the end of the UK pieces. Before I get into this combat, I should say that the bombers both targeted AA guns in Cherbourg. Both bombers missed, but so did all 3 AA guns, so a big nothing burger. Of course, the fighters positioned on St. Lo and Caen. And we see this advanced guard of units enter the city. Now, St. Lo and Caen are both under Allied control. And it's important to keep in mind that if Cherbourg was under Allied control, we would have a problem as Germany. The game doesn't continue until turn 10. It can end sooner if the Allies have positive control over all 3 victory cities for one whole turn. So the fact that we have Cherbourg means we don't have to attack St. Lo or Caen, which is good because there's still these 4 fighters over each of those victory cities. And I'm now going to take a quick moment and deviate and discuss the statistics around this strategy. Now, low luck, which is what a lot of Axis and Allies players like to think in terms of, would have us believe that 4 fighters has the same or nearly the same opportunity of destroying a unit as 1 bomber, right? Because if you add the pips, they're the same. 1 bomber hits at a 4 or less, and we have these 4 fighters that hit at 1. So we have 4 at 1 and 1 at 4. What's the difference? Well, there's quite a big difference actually. The actual numbers when you roll 4 at 1 is very close to a coin flip. 51.77% or 51.8%. Okay, so just a little bit better than the toss of a coin. It's not, in fact, the 66% that, again, folks who think in terms of low luck would like to think. So the reality is, and the strategy here that I'm interpreting from my opponent is, he's going to hold these fighters over these victory cities until I have to attack, and yes, I eventually will have to attack. The Germans have to have at least 1 German piece in the zone at the end of turn 9, after the Allies have captured it on turn 9. Ostensibly, if they capture it earlier, of course, the Germans would have to attack sooner. But 9 times out of 10, this game comes down to the turn 9 turn. The Allies need to clear it. The Germans need to then counterattack. And that's where this fighter strategy comes into play. The Germans will attack St. Lo or Caen with 8 pieces. The most likely outcome is the Germans lose half of their army. They could lose 1 more, they could lose 1 less. They could enter with 5 or 3 pieces, of course, but the most likely single outcome is that they enter one of these victory cities with 4 pieces. So assuming my opponent completes this strategy and has 8 units on defense, the next question is, what is the odds that all 4 pieces are destroyed by those 8 defending units? Because keep in mind, so long as there's 1 German piece in the city at the end of turn 9, it's game over. And so to demonstrate the actual odds of that most likely situation, I'm going to borrow the battle calculator from 1914 because this is set up for single rounds of combat. And as we can see, the chance of there being 1 German piece left over in a situation where 4 pieces attack 8 is 74%. So there's essentially a 75 or 3 out of 4 games the Germans are going to win, even though the Allies are using this strategy. Okay, if that's the best strategy as the Allies, this game is imbalanced. So what it comes down to for me is, do I think that I can get a better deal as the German player? Do I think I can increase those odds? And I've thought about it, and I just don't like, I don't even know what else I would do. So no, I'm not going to. I'm going to settle with 75% chance at a win if my opponent continues to play this way. I've thought about other counter strategies as the Allies in this board state with this strategy. And the best I could come up with is that the Allies pounce on these locations adjacent to the victory cities so that the Germans can't attack. In other words, they need to occupy or contest the zones in such force and quantity that the Germans can't even get around or into the victory cities. Now that seems like an extraordinarily tall order. So I'm going to pin my hopes and my plan on those statistics. I don't think this is a winning strategy, although it might still be the best strategy as the Allies. I haven't said anything, I think, too much about it, but it does seem that the Allies have a very uphill fight in this game. But yeah, so anyway, these are my thoughts moving into these final turns. And that is the projected strategy, pending some sort of change in my opponent's strategy or dice, but that is what the odds are, not what low luck would lead you to believe. And the only reason I'm going into this much detail on this is because I'm preparing a video on my primary channel about low luck. Okay, let's get to shooting. Excuse me, the shooting. So the Allies attack, and both sides perform slightly under. The Allies shot, what, negative 0.83. It's funny, I just drag low luck, but there's really no better way to keep track of dice. A different application, but that's the silver lining of that concept. Okay, so the Germans also shoot, what is this, -1. Okay, so both sides doing about as bad as, yeah, so both sides lose 2 infantry. Okay, so then we enter the German turn. Now, first things first, we have to absolutely attack the other side of this hex. And we're going to go ahead and throw in a pair of infantry to bring that up to 8. And this will likely stay there will likely stay a combat in here until the end of the game, unless, again, some sort of sea change on the part of my opponent. But okay, now I am, as the German player, taking on 4 new reinforcement pieces, and to complete this strategy, to maximize its effectiveness, we want to be in a position where we do that thing to both St. Lo and Caen, or at least give ourselves an opportunity to do the aforementioned against St. Lo and Caen. So I'm going to go ahead and shift my forces around a little bit here. Right, let's move 2 here. Let's bring you down. Okay. Let's bring 3 over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Whoops. 3, 4, 5, 4, 6, 7. Okay. Not all of them are going to have 8 pieces anymore, and that's okay. The idea is to just be in the best positions possible adjacent to these cities so that we can launch the, one attack each on both Caen and St. Lo. So we'll just move here. Okay. So we have 7, 8, 7, 8, 5, and then we just want to make sure we have room for the reinforcements. So we have 4 pieces, We have 1 spot here and 3 spots here. So that's, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 3 here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay, I need to open up 1 more spot. So we'll move this piece. Oh no, that's gonna, yeah, that's good. 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll be 4 spots here. So all 4 reinforcements will go here. And everybody else looks good. Okay, sorry about that. It's just that we are coming down towards the, we're on the back half, last few turns here, and it needs to be done correctly. So Cherbourg is just going to stay put. We could attack, but you know, I don't know why I would give the Allies a round of combat that might get myself diced. You know, nope, not going into the teeth of their reinforcements either. So hang back, use the distance, and here we go. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is a plus 0.5. Yeah, there was a 2.5 kill, so really no shock here. And they pick up an extra. Okay, nice. They plugged a +1, and that's the end of the combat. So the Americans still have a respectable amount of reinforcements to pour in. But my role is going to be pretty automatic. So after this, yeah, it's going to very quickly come to a head. So let's do the reinforcement roll, do the dice assessment, and close this video. So my opponent rolled an 11 on his reinforcement roll. And that's really good because the Americans had 10 pieces left, and there was a big question of whether this tail-end artillery would be able to enter the game and be effective. And that question is now answered. It will enter the game and be effective. So it's not mobility killed, and that's really good. I think they need every piece they can get at this point. The Germans, for their part, they rolled their 4 or less, and they entered in Chartres as per the plan. So there are no more reinforcements, and there are no more reinforcement rolls. So when we look at the final tally for reinforcements, it ended up being pretty even. Both sides did very bad. The Allies at -7 and the Germans at -6. Now, I'm going to make an argument here that this actually negatively impacts the Allies more than the Germans. When the German pieces enter, they're usually adjacent to the area they need to be. The worst case scenario, they could enter on St. Lo or next to St. Lo and become combat effective basically the turn of entry. The Allies take several turns to get into position where they can be effective. So additionally, the negative roll, although it looks almost dead even at the end, it was really bad in these formative turns. And for those reasons, I think negative reinforcement rolls, especially the way they fell in this game, are worse for the Allies. So that's taking these numbers, but also adding some context. Okay. On the other side of the house here, when it comes to dice rolls, combat rolls worsened for both sides. So we have -4.16 for the Allies and -2.5 for the Germans. So the Germans are up about 1.5 kills. Not too much to say about that. The next 3 turns are going to be the most critical. Turns 7, 8, and 9. Most games are actually over on turn 9 in my experience. The 10th turn is really just any last-ditch German counterattack to mess up the victory conditions that the Allies have. So that's it. The thrilling conclusion will come quickly now without reinforcement rolls. So catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.